She got diagnosed on the 1st of May. Then, in very quick succession, she had surgery on the 14th. So everything was all a bit of a whirlwind, but it was all still very positive at that point. We obviously didn't really realise the severity of it. So she had a surgery, she recovered remarkably well from the surgery, and she was remarkably stoic about it all. You know, obviously there was a big change to her body. She wasn't that bothered. She was just more concerned about, you know, living. Prior to diagnosis, I mean, again, I know it's easy for me to say looking back, but I mean, even if you'd have asked me at the time, it was probably the best place that we'd been, sort of, ever. You know, everything was just sort of knitting together. It was a gradual process. So when she got the diagnosis that it was terminal, then immediately there was the introduction of palliative care nurse, who, again, she was fantastic. You know, a real backbone for us both, because neither of us are really, we were just sort of just washing around in the ocean, didn't really know where we were going. But obviously at that point it was only sort of day therapy, so it was all sort of, it was more for a comfort rather than a care. But knew that it'd be second to none, but also knowing that there was somebody there who was genuinely looking out for us. You know, we're not just another one on a conveyor belt. They deal with people at end of life so often, but they obviously saw the situation for what it was, and they just got it. There was no sort of, if there was an obstacle in the way, they would make sure that it could be surmounted if it possibly could. You know, with the Lapland, that was magical, and the Hospice of the Good Shepherd managed to guide and sort of enable that to happen, because it would have been quite easy for somebody to say, actually, you're not fit enough to fly, in which case we wouldn't have been able to have that event, that experience together. She wanted to have a big 40th birthday party, which again she knew she wasn't going to have, so she planned for a 38th and a half birthday party. It was just unfortunate that on the morning of the party she passed away, which was very bittersweet in a way, because, you know, she'd planned for that. And it's very frustrating when people say it's peaceful, because it wasn't peaceful, it was horrific. But knowing that Lynn was there, it was almost like it felt better. And that's something that it'll live with me for the rest of my life, to watch that happen. But at the time, knowing that she was there, and that, you know, anything would be done to make it better for us, then that did certainly, even if it's just a tiny bit, made it slightly better. It's down to the staff, and this is my own personal view, but I find it lunacy that they get so little support from outside of, you know, donations, because the work that they do was second to none. And I never quite appreciated the fact that grief is a genuine pain. It's a physical, tangible pain. You don't arrange a funeral for your wife very often, and you don't do all the admin and stuff that comes with it. And knowing that the hospice and staff at the hospice will guide us through everything from there, again, it was, you don't really realise it at the time, but looking back, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot more difficult. I wouldn't have been able to cope. There's no dressing it up. I wouldn't have been able to. And the ongoing effects of that, the fact that, you know, eventually Helen would have passed away at home. I know some people prefer that. Helen didn't want that. And I know that it wouldn't have been a good thing for me or the children, because rather than it being our family home and a home where we've got a bright future in, it would have been, it's the place where Mummy died. Which is not anything that Helen wanted, and nor did I. I'd say the Hospice of the Good Shepherd, they just offer a shoulder. I know that sounds very simple, but at times when you're at your lowest, all you want is a shoulder. Whether it's to be lean on, or somebody to listen to you and to point you in the right direction, I personally, and then subsequently us as a family, would have been able to cope. And obviously Hel, it enabled her to live the end of her life the way that she wanted to. To be able to have the support of somewhere like the Hospice of the Good Shepherd, you can't put a price on that, because that's a memory that sticks with family forever. The patience and the care and the support that they showed for her, and not only her but for us as a family, we wouldn't have been able to cope as well as we did, because they just understood. I know that she was grateful, and I know I am, and the family, because, you know, any sort of happiness and comfort it gave to her made us happy. So things are getting better, and they will continue to get better, but it doesn't mean that Helen won't be far from our thoughts, ever.